mind the sovereignty of the South African state. South Africa as a state must never be compromised by racist interest of a tiny minority, which we must deal with decisively. We are now going to have visitors. You know, even when we are fighting at home, when there are visitors, we behave differently. But we have seen the Afriforum and them are not wanting to behave differently, you know, in acknowledgement that there are visitors coming, and we must not show our dirty linen to our visitors. But once the visitors are gone, we must go back and deal with this racist and put them at their own place. These are terrorists, and they need to be dealt with as such. They are terrorists. They want to harm this country. They want to destabilize the economy of this country, and we need to decisively deal with them as a state.
Thank you. I think Afriforum are the most skilled people at manufacturing non-existent evidence. And one of the things that we must be able to highlight to the people of South Africa is that he tried to bring his friend Ernst Roots as an expert witness at the Equality Court. Ernst Roots was dismissed as the fast that he was with his book that they wrote after drinking brandy and coke. They were dismissed from that court because they thought that what they were doing, because they are white and because they think their opinion can change legislation, they think their opinion is fact. They went to a court with their opinions and they were dismissed and thrown out of that court. And now he's generating another false opinion that white farmers die at a higher rate than police officers who are fighting crime in this country. I mean, that is nonsensical. We challenge him to provide evidence of that because they manufacture evidence to justify this maniacal farce of that there's a genocide in South Africa of white people. This is what they do. They state lies in public record in order for people to panic because they want funding from international right-wing formations and institutions and individuals. This is what they are doing. They fundraise on the basis of lies. They fundraise on the basis of misinformation. And we must characterize them as such.
Kali, you mentioned something with regards to the technicalities of burden of proof, right? But in the court of public opinion, sometimes the threshold is different. In order to persuade somebody that something is wrong, you need to have some sort of evidence that kind of correlates what you're saying. In the absence of that, how are you going to convince people?
No, if you want to look what hate speech is, and maybe our colleagues in the EFF should just go and look at the Constitution. You are not allowed to make a call for violence against people on the basis of race. That is what the Constitution says. It doesn't bring a burden of proof. And we're just saying, even if you look outside of the law, let's look at it morally. Is it justifiable morally? And maybe I shouldn't ask the EFF because morals have never played a huge role in their organization. But morally, can you say, you chant something to say kill somebody on the basis of race while people are being killed? That is not the way we can build a future. And as I've said, fortunately, and we work on grassroots level. We have 168 community safety structures. And we work with all communities, from all cultural communities, to make our towns safer. And we don't pick up what we hear from the EFF. So we are fortunate that we know the majority of people don't do this, but it doesn't mean we should laugh it off. It is extremely dangerous because only a few people can murder people. And we did not hear the EFF condemn the slitting of the throat of Theo Bakker a day after they sang this. They did not condemn it. So for them now
Why should we condemn it?
Because it's a person that's murdered.
6,200 people die in this country now, January to March. How many murderers must we condemn? Must we condemn all of them?
Okay.
What's special about white death that you think it must be elevated about everyone else's?
Now you see
why? Why do you exceptionalize white death so much? Above the death of thousands of people in this country. How many people must we condemn? How many murderers do you want us to condemn? Why must we condemn white people who are because white people are murdered?
On black people.
What's special about white people that we must condemn those? So why do you want us to condemn them? Why must we condemn specific murderers? Why do you want us to condemn specific murderers? On what basis?
Because
what logic are you using?
That they should be murdered.
You know, the lack of sophistication that we're dealing with here, because we've explained time and time again that Kill the poor, kill the farmer is a chant against the system of oppression, a system of economic exclusion of black people at the benefit of whites, a system of exclusion of black people from land, from mineral wealth, from the means of production. We've explained this. The court has accepted this logic. The court has stated this logic. Now, because courts are agreeing with the EFF's sound logic, suddenly they're not making sense. Suddenly they are wrong. Suddenly they are irrational. Suddenly we must mobilize international communities to stand against domestic courts of South Africa, because someone thinks that white death matters more than the death of black people in this country. And we must condemn murderers of whites, but all other murderers, it's by the way, the Cape Flats also we were worried.
I just want to ask,
this is racism.
Right. If this is simply a literal, it should not be taken literally. Would he give an undertaking that the EFF will not call for the slaughter of white people?
We'll never do that.
Okay, so it's clear.
We won't take an instruction to take
not a
undertakings
literal
by you.
remark.
We're not going to take any instruction to make any undertaking from a aspirant.
They did say, though, that it shouldn't be taken literally. But why can't we give the benefit of doubt to the South African public to say that they do understand that this has historical context? It is being sung now without the literal meaning or agitating the attack. Why can't we give South Africans the benefit of doubt?
No, we give the benefit of the doubt to the vast majority of black people in the country, because we know the vast majority of people are peaceful. But we are worried about those thugs that take this literally.
100,000 FNB Stadium thugs.
Yeah, well, we know after you failed on the 20th of March, they had to use liquor, threats for the public representatives, food and T-shirts to fill up the stadium. They had to try and save face after they failed dismally.
How
they
many
were defeated,
people have died?
They were defeated on the 20th.
How can you prove it? Prove it. Prove how many people have died because of the challenge.
Let's
I
take
can
it.
prove that you're not willing to say you will not kill
I'm
white
not going
people.
to take any instruction from you to take
Well,
any
maybe it's we're playing with regards to semantics, right? Maybe it's the heat of the moment and somebody doesn't want to admit something on this platform. But the general understanding is that no harm should be should come to another person, right? And I think that is understood now, right? So why can't we meet in the center here? Is it all about just the public bluster? Is that what we're dealing with?
They want money. They need money. They have no interest in meeting in the middle. They need the narrative of genocide to rise so they can fundraise to go to the bushes and shoot at paper targets. This is what they need. Afriforum survives on creating a false narrative of genocide and farm murders in South Africa as if they are at an exponential rate above general crime in South Africa. They exceptionalize themselves because they think white lives matter more than black lives. They need money. They fundraise about stoking Swart Gefat. They've done this in 1994. When Mandela became president, they said there's going to be a genocide. It didn't happen. When Mandela died, they said there's going to be a genocide. It didn't happen. Now we're going into one of the most landmark elections in 2024, and the EFF has scared them with FNB Stadium. Now they must stoke another genocidal crowd because they need money.
I go to my digital audience.
He's just ill-informed. Afriforum didn't exist in 1994. We only founded in 2007.
Same thing.
But can I just
last point to you, and then we go to digital audience.
Say one thing to what he said. He said we don't want to meet the middle ground. We had, in the first case when this happened, we decided and went into a mediation process with Julius Malema and the ANC to solve this problem, with Julius Malema sitting there. And in the end, it was agreed that the ANC and Julius Malema will ask their supporters not to sing it. So you have a man now that says he spoke and we agreed on that, and he just turned his back on that.
We're not the ANC.
So we cannot. With Julius Malema, his name was involved.
He's not the ANC.
Okay.
Go to the ANC if you want to have those agreements.
Let's pause it there. Let's get in another perspective. I want to bring in clinical psychologist Siphelele Nguze. Siphelele Nguze is joining us now. Siphelele, you have undertaken a study with regards to the psychological effects of struggle songs. Help us understand, what did you find? And